is the Chloe Roberts Show. Your first release was in 2014, if I'm correct. And was the band formed the same year?
That sounds about right.
Okay. So then that would mean you've been in the band for 8 years, which,
yeah.
If I'm doing the math correctly again, I'm not a numbers girl, is a third of your life.
Yeah.
How do you balance your life and the band? It's just so part of your life now.
I think it's similar in a lot of ways, like with a romantic partner or your best friend, where it's like you're not really thinking about it as like taking up your life, and more so just like it's like a part of your life that you value a lot, and you're centered by. I know that isn't like too descriptive.
No, it makes sense. Yeah, you're like so integrated.
Yeah, at this point especially, yeah.
And how do you balance like your daily making music, working in music, working a job, having your free time? Do you follow like schedules, or do you just kind of feel it out whatever falls into that day?
After a while, it took a while, but after a while, I've sunk in. I think most of us have sunk in to just, being able to be flexible. You have your priorities most of the time. They are with the music, but at the same time, like, we're all fucking human and we all got other shit going on.
That's a skill to like learn how to find the balance and like making plans and then breaking plans, like not even breaking, but like having to restructure it.
Yeah.
Gets me so messed up in the day.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my God, wait, I can't do yoga today. What am I going to do?
No, I am very similar though. I like to wake up and know how my day is going to look. And I think like we all definitely do that, but when it changes, it's definitely rough, but you get through it. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, it's probably like a practice thing. You practice like getting your head wrapped around changes.
Yeah.
Good for you. It's not easy.
No, it's funny just because like I hated group projects in school. And this one, like, I've never really like looked at like that, but in a lot of ways it is very similar, and
that's true. It's like, guys, like, let's be at the library at 2. Someone's like, oh, sorry, getting brunch with my grandma. And you're like, no, literally have to do this.
Absolutely.
But also you get stuck with clowns and not your besties normally.
Absolutely.
So you're in a little better situation.
I agree.
So it has been a while. You've got a relatively big discography at this point. I was wondering, what do you think are the major evolutions that have happened so far?
It's hard because I want to talk even like more so about future things, but I guess like to answer your question, I think the biggest shift came with Internet Child, which was like a single, and then it was on our album Sleeping In. But that was like the first, I think, shift we had in terms of like recording style. That was the first song.
From a more like you guys doing it to somebody else, or like collaborating, like what was the big change?
Kind of like vice versa. Like that was the first song that we like started as a demo completely ourselves without like a producer or an engineer in the room.
Wow.
Worked on it a bunch and then brought it in. Yeah, I think that song, the energy in that song, the sound direction that it went in, it was much different. So I think like how I think of things is before that song and then after that song.
It's the BC of Manwolves.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, no, I mean, right now we're in this period where, we are defined to some degree by songs that we wrote when we were like 16 years old, and that is like, honestly, I mean, there's a small part of me that is so grateful for that and appreciative, and I think there's a larger part of me that feels that that's not something that I want, and I know that's not something that we want. Um,
Right. I mean, that's what happens to everybody. Like, I mean, One Direction got stuck singing What Makes You Beautiful forever.
yeah,
So it's only natural, but there's always room for growth, and you're
yeah,
growing. Do you have a favorite
absolutely.
song or album that you've worked on so far?
Right now, I think Shotgun, our newest one, like I really love. Um,
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe we could like tease some of the new demos in this. If I send you links,
Oh,
would you play like
I'll put it
snippets of like new stuff?
in the fuck.
Okay. Yeah, we're definitely like things are changing a lot with some of our newer stuff.
Definitely feeling that with Shotgun. So
Yeah,
for me, first of all, my favorite until recently would probably be Vices.
right
How do you
on.
feel about that?
I mean, we don't play that song a whole lot anymore, just
Really?
because that. I mean, that is like though that is a song that we were super young when we wrote.
Yeah.
I always liked that song. I Jamie has issues with it. I think just vocally and the instrumentation does like it's not nearly where like we want to go, but at the same time, like of that early batch, like I think we all loved that song, and I have great memories playing that song live too.
Amazing. So I have good taste.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I think that's a good one. It's not a crowd favorite, so
Is
yeah,
it? Okay. I don't know why I just like assumed because it's my favorite. I'm like, yeah, everybody loves Vices. It's a classic. Um, but Shotgun, I think, is now the favorite. It's so different though. Like the lyrics
yeah.
feel like way more abstract. Like it's a smattering of like visuals almost. Is that like one of the changes you're talking about, or like what's a big change that you see in it?
I think that I mean that definitely is a big change, right? Like I think Jamie vocally, like this past year, it like he's really been growing a lot and trying to grow, which has been really
Yeah.
sick. Instrumentally, I mean, this was like having Julian played saxophone, on this record.
Oh, no way.
And I don't know, it was one that like there were like a bunch of different iterations of it, and we finally landed on that one. And I think it is a new sound. I think it's like more mellow, and I don't think that's like necessarily like a direction that we're like gunning for, but at the same time, like I think we're still trying to be more dynamic and know that there's a lot more room for that,
Yeah.
and that's missing in some of our old recordings. Not to put any of those down, but I think just in terms of growth, and
And
sonically too. I think you hear it with the phased drums as well. That
oh, okay.
if you
I'm
listen to
not
the
a
drum
production
sound,
girly to be honest, but I will be looking for phased.
yeah, no, if you listen to all the cymbal crashes, and stuff like that, there's this like sway from left to right, and I think
Ooh.
we've experimented that with that in the past, but at the same time, it's very moody too. Also, the whole thing with just the double single, how we released that, there's the whole
The
other version,
rainy. Yeah.
yeah,
It
without,
was so different. I was expecting it to just be like slow reverb with rain. Like
yeah. I mean, shit, you're not far off. It's literally just
no, no.
take away two tracks and add rain, but it felt different enough for us that it was worth it.
I think it's super different. Like I definitely was like, is this even the same song? Like
Yeah,
you notice the lyrics in a different way, like the melody in a different way. I think the
absolutely.
first one's very like it is very bass driven, is it not?
I I mean, it's definitely a prominent point. Yeah, especially in the hook too.
How did you get that bass line down? Were you like, this is my moment? Like I feel like the bass needs to be in this, or did it naturally come about?
No, it just naturally came about.
Like I'm literally the star.
No, I don't think so. I think drums in that recording, the drums are the star instrumentally. I think
Okay.
drums and
Definitely,
keys.
definitely feel that. I think the bass, am I wrong? I think the bass is a
No,
big part.
no, I think the bass is a big part, and that might just be because I'm playing it. So I'm like, oh no, 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 not the bass, not the bass. But I think that's just me as a musician. I think I try not to take up that space in the front. So
Okay.
that's where my voice is coming from.
Do you think that's
Whether
a unique thing to like being a bass player, just kind of like feeling like support a lot
no,
of the time, or no?
I mean, I would hope. I think the best players, the best bass players, are the ones who understand their role in a group setting, and that can mean like so many different things. You know, there's crazy players who should and are in the forefront. You know, but some of my favorite bass players are like the most tasteful in the back, and they still end up making the song. You know.
Okay. That subtle carry in a way.
I can rattle some off right now. I hope that the pictures show up like somewhere right
I could pop them exactly where you put your finger if you want.
All right. Kim Deal right here. Bass player in the Pixies.
Okay.
Few other bands as well. So fucking sick.
Love
Pino
it.
Palladino.
Pino Palladino.
Pino Palladino.
Great name.
Right here. He played on like all of D'Angelo's records. Toured with John Mayer. He's a baller.
Love it. You're the voice of the bassists.
Let's go.
the new what is it called? Face of bass. So you guys all write together, right?
Mm-hmm.
So is anybody ever like the lead?
We all kind of manage our own parts, and then we all kind of talk about each other's parts, not in terms of right or wrong, but just like adjustments. You know, I think like naturally, like most of our songs come from, you know, like one person having one idea, all of us trying to like work off of that, you know. And I think that right, like lyrics, like I think like yes, like people will like always like provide input, you know. And if
I saw the one genius for these days,
it's fucked up.
It's not fucked up. It's just so funny. Like the way that people are describing these lyrics that are like, you know, it's like, girl, you're like a cigarette killing me slowly, but right now you know that I'm loving it, right? And so there's like a genius description of what that means. And they're like, so cigarettes are bad for you. So it's like kind of crazy. And I was like, who wrote this?
True.
I forget what I was talking about, but things are changing. Things are changing. You've got a new direction.
Things are changing.
So, what's coming up? Are we working on singles, albums?
I think it's right now. It's going to be a mix of both. It's an album's worth of songs right now, but I'm not sure it's going to be packaged as that.
Right.
It might be a 2-part thing. So I don't have any more details. I think it's all going to be, it's going to be different. I mean, just, we went to the studio right before we went to Philadelphia, a month ago, and we got 4 songs done, and each of them were like so different to the point that, you know, we're like talking a week later with our manager and talking about all of them and like how they go together and stuff like that. And, you know, it was like almost like a head scratcher, you know, and I think that was really fun working on too.
Like an exploration moment.
Yeah. We played,
things are shifting.
We played a bunch of them live, a couple weeks ago here in Chicago. And for the first time, and it was like super fun. And I think it is like people left thinking that things were different. The sound is changing.
Okay. How did they react in the moment? They were like, what is this? Or they were like, fuck yeah.
I mean, yeah, like, I don't know, like, quite honestly, like, it's new music. Like, you go to a concert, you're trying to hear songs that you fuck with, you know?
And, I mean, of course, but...
I think they all went over really well.
Okay.
Yeah. No duds.
You guys are such great performers. Lots of energy. Lots of fun. But yeah, is that something that has been, like, natural or something you work at? and like grow up into?
I think early on it was difficult for some of us, just like figuring out how to be comfortable. But I think at this point it's coming like way more naturally, and it just natural, I guess, is the word to describe it. Not that I think that, you know, it's like naturally the best, you know, or I think it's just like we see it as like, well, we're gonna like do what we're gonna do, and if it goes well, it goes well, and if it flops, it flops. And you know, there isn't this like, there's a lot of pressure we put on ourselves when we were younger, and I think now we've shed a lot of that.
You know, laissez-faire?
No.
What is it? Laissez-faire. A philosophy or practice characterized by usually deliberate abstention from direction or interference, especially with individual freedom and choice of action. Is that what it's not as accurate as I thought, but maybe you got a laissez-faire new wave.
I'll take it.
That's so fun. And is there any like particular audience or show or like venue or genre of performance you love to do, like festival, or is everything kind of its own flavor?
I think everything's its own flavor. Like when we were in Philadelphia, we played one show in it was a DIY venue. We played in some kid's kitchen. Not some kid. Cecil Records. Can we plug Cecil Records?
Plug Cecil.
Cecil Records. We played in their apartment, and yeah, like our keyboard was literally like on their stovetop. And so
get some pasta stuck to the bottom.
Yes, insanely fun that night. And then like we probably played for like 30 kids, you know, in this time.
Oh my god! Last month.
Yeah, last month.
How did you set this up?
The reason we went is for the show, which was the following night. It was at a college out in Philadelphia, and it was like huge ass show, like 700-800 kids, like packed. We're in this like old ballroom, and it was also just so much fun. Mm-hmm. Amazing. But I think like the two shows were so different, and you know, there was a duality, but each one was fun for its own reason.
Did Cecil just reach out to you and be like, yeah?
No, we were actually going to play at a different venue that night in Philadelphia. We wanted to do something aside from the college show. And we were going to play at another venue. And when the opening act was on, like cops came and shut the whole thing down. It was in a backyard.
Boo.
And so right afterwards, we were trying to figure out like what we were going to do, if we were going to pack our stuff up and go home or whatever. My brother was there. He went to school at Temple in Philly, and had been to like a bunch of house shows and stuff. And he said, I could DM, you know, these guys, the Hennessy brothers.
No way.
Hennessy brothers. Figure out, you know, they're having a show tonight. We could try to, you know, work that out. And they were so nice, and we're just like, yeah, like come. You know?
Oh my god, Nate's the plug.
Nate is, yeah, can we also put a picture of Nate?
MVP, yeah. That's his brother, everybody. Yeah, you're doing all this new stuff. Is there anything like that you want to say is like really exciting for you in particular?
I'm really stoked for this new music. But also too, I mean, I think right now, like traveling, the goal right now is West Coast, sometime late this summer, early fall. Never played in the Pacific. We played Portland one time, but we've never really done like an actual Pacific Northwest. So it would be that.
I feel like there's got to be a good group of Manwolves fans over there.
I hope so. I hope so. I'm excited to go to Seattle. I've never been to Seattle in my life. I'm excited to visit there. I think, traveling is definitely something we're all really looking forward to doing soon.
Beautiful. See the world.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Any final words, advice, or like something you think I missed that you want to say? Or
I want you to have a great summer. I want everyone to have a great summer.
That's so wholesome. And I need to hear it. I needed to hear it. Wait, when's music happening? Months out? Weeks out?
days, hours, minutes.
No, stop.
No, yeah.
And it drops right now.
Yeah. We'll see. I mean, depending on how singles get oriented, we'll see. I don't have those details for you.
Okay. But maybe a summer song. Will you help us have a great summer?
If there isn't a summer song, we've fucked up.
Yeah.
So, yes.
Okay, perfect. All right. Thank you so much, Henry.
No problem. Thanks for having me, Chloe.
Yay!
Always disappointed, impatient, was in a hurry. Rush right out my head, that's why I'm not so wordy. Singing simple songs, sing along, singing like